Hello RPF, it's Matt Munson here for the next episode of my Arkham City grapple gun buildup. And since I've gotten such good feedback about different materials and stuff that I've been talking about in other videos, I wanted to introduce you guys to something new that I just discovered. They're called 1, 2, 3 blocks. In an earlier video, I showed where I was cutting some styrene. I was working on that front part of the grapple gun made up of a bunch of styrene rectangles. I mentioned that I was struggling getting right angles and symmetry. In fact, in one of the videos, you can even see me butting some pieces up against a larger piece of plastic in order to try to get a right angle. What I didn't know is that I was basically mimicking the functionality of these. These are called 1, 2, 3 blocks because of the dimensions they occupy. So it's 1 inch by 2 inches by 3 inches. And they've got a bunch of holes drilled in them, and some of them are tapped, which allows you to join them together in different configurations depending on what your needs are. I haven't so far had use to join them together, but you get the idea. So let's head out into the workshop and I'll show you how they're used. Before we begin, I wanted to talk a little bit about styrene and cutting techniques. Always use a fairly fresh blade. If you use a dull blade, not only are you not going to get clean cuts, but you run the risk of slipping and doing something like which, oh look, I happened to do just the other day, so I know what I'm talking about here. Check this out. If I make a cut, in fact, I'll use my 1, 2, 3 block right now. I'm just gonna use this as a straight edge. One of the techniques for cutting styrene is called score and bend. So what you do is you actually make a shallow cut. You're not trying to cut all the way through, you're just scoring the stuff like that. See, it's not really cut. And then you just bend it. And because of the way styrene works, it just snaps and it's very clean. Well, I personally find that it's clean on thin stock, but when you're cutting on thicker stock like this, I'll do a demo just to show you. The score and cut method works, but it tends to give you not a very smooth edge. So I just did 3 shallow cuts on that. So it broke. I don't know if you can really see it, if it's gonna focus. There it is. But it's not the cleanest of edges. Actually, this one turned out pretty good. Actually, I take it back. But usually you find this edge will be a little bit jagged. So I personally don't recommend the score and cut method for thicker stock, but it's definitely good on thinner stuff. But that's just me. Your mileage may vary. So let's put this 1, 2, 3 block to use. As I mentioned, what it's really good for is cutting perfectly straight right angles and using it as a straight edge. These are precision ground steel blocks. I'm told they're ground down to 0.0001 accuracy. So for my purposes, that's pretty darn good. Let's just go ahead and line this up. It's a little hard because I'm trying to make sure the camera can see everything. I'm kind of working blind in a couple parts. Okay, so I've got that. I've got my right angle lined up on the edge there. So I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna score this just twice. I'll do the same thing on this edge. Okay, and then I'll just bend that. Boom! Now I don't know how dimensionally perfect that is, but it's pretty darn good. So let me show you what else these blocks are good for, at least for my purposes. Let's do another little cut right here, just to show off. I'll do the same thing, just score it once, and then snap it. So what I really liked is that it gives you not only a right angle here, but also here. So watch this. So I can take this piece, say that I just cut. I'm gonna use some of this stuff. This is from Plastruct, Plastic Weld. It's similar in function to the tester's glue that you can find at a hobby store, but this is more of a gel, whereas this is much more liquid, much more fluid, like water. So let's just apply a little bead of that there. Butt it up against the block, and take my other piece and lay it straight down. So I'm applying pressure towards the block and down. And in theory, that should form a very nice, very clean right angle if I put enough glue down. Pretty cool. Now, it's kind of falling apart because I didn't let it cure all the way, but you get the idea. If I had had these a couple weeks ago when I was building those rectangular pieces, I think it would have gone a lot smoother. There you have it, folks. That is your introductory lesson on cutting styrene and on using 1, 2, 3 blocks. I actually have an RPF member to thank for these. I was having a phone conversation with him just the other week and describing the troubles I was having with the grapple gun, and he recommended these to me, and they've worked out really well, and I'm looking forward to using these in future builds. In the next episode, I'm going to be showing more about molding, as I'm currently working on the 2-part mold for the handle of the gun. All right, folks, until next time, I will see you then. Bye.